Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we have a mission to wake the world up to what's possible. And here today to help me with that mission is one of the amazing author experts that we have in a new book we have coming out called Mindset Mastery: Awareness, Meditation, Mindfulness, and Manifestation for the Spiritual Warrior. Tiffany, welcome. How are you doing?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing good today. I'm just it's good Sunday morning, so it's really relaxing.
I'm excited to have this conversation with you today. You guys, Tiffany McBride is I'm going to say initials in your bio, LCPC. What is that?
It's a licensed clinical professional counselor.
Perfect. Thank you. She's a teacher, a shaman, a healer, and an expressive artist. Tiffany owns Holistic Vibrations, where they use holistic remedies and altered states of consciousness for those who struggle with trauma, addictions, and those seeking a deeper spiritual connection. So, first of all, thank you so much for being willing to share your story and also your incredible master teachings in this book. The book is full of awareness practices, you guys, like Tiffany's, that are going to transform your life. I am so excited about this book. So, Tiffany, would you share a little bit about your chapter with us?
Sure. It's pretty much like the beginning of when I was burnt out as an agency counselor, and I had been at it for 12, 13 years. I felt like I wasn't going anywhere. I was living paycheck to paycheck, like I was very unhappy. And so it's about my journey of starting my own business, and then here I am now, very successful and doing very well on my own. And so my book is offering my pretty much my beginning of my 13-page manual on how to manifest your entire destiny.
Oh, that's it, right?
That.
Just manifesting your entire destiny. Holy moly. Okay, so that's exciting. You've mentioned burnout, which I know a lot of people are going to resonate with. You know, I don't want people to live one more day in that space that you're talking about, but it is really hard, and it's hard to jump out on your own, right? There had to have been a turning point or a catalyst. Like, do you think people have to hit rock bottom, or maybe not?
I don't think they have to. I know I did. I know a lot of people do. And a lot of people have a lot of fear of leaving the corporate America, like jobs, all of that, because the fear is that they can't make it on their own. They're not going to be able to financially, get it together. And it is really hard to start your own business. Like, it is a process and it takes time. So it isn't for everybody. Like, you really want to be ready. And so it'd probably be better if you do it before you're burnt out, so you have the energy to, get that started.
That's for sure. That's
Yeah.
great advice, honestly. Just make the leap, you guys, before burnout, because you are going to need quite a bit of energy to do this. And kudos to you for doing that, because I do also know how hard that is. And I know that it takes a continual effort, but I think you would agree it's so worth it.
So worth it. I have my own schedule I make, and I've done some amazing things. I'm really
Yes.
yeah, super awesome.
Yeah, totally, totally worth it, you guys. Okay, so this topic, mindset, like, I am such a mindset geek. Like, awareness is everything to me. It's what makes the difference between kind of a so-so life and a totally freaking amazing life. So, what does being a mindset master actually mean to you?
Well, mindfulness is a definitely a process. So being able just to be aware of who you are, even your triggers. I think that's a huge thing, is knowing your triggers, knowing how you respond to stress, and knowing how to hold your, thoughts captive, like really trying to be like, oh, I noticed that there, and not allowing it to spin out of control. It's more of us trying to take control of our mind instead of having our minds take hold of ourselves and like going down that spiral.
I totally want to talk about this for a minute, because I think even if you're aware of your own triggers, your entire life could change from that awareness. And I want people to understand what we mean. Like, it's a matter of responding to life instead of reacting to life. What else do you want to say about that?
That's exactly right. It is about wanting to be able to respond instead of react. So triggers are like fears, things that like make you self-sabotage, things that like want you to go back and not go forward. So like, being afraid of talking on stage because the fear is what's that trigger there that you are so afraid to get on stage and talk. And there's rejection. Rejection is a huge trigger for a lot of people. Abandonment is really huge for people too. Those are like two major ones. But just knowing your fears, knowing what like what past things have, kind of creeps up and gives you a perspective from the past instead of being present. And being able to understand the difference between what is in your past lens and what is really going on in the present moment.
This is such important stuff. You're making me scribble a couple of notes, because I like to call myself a recovering good girl. And one of the triggers for me is being perceived as bad or wrong or unprofessional, God forbid, right?
For sure.
And so if y'all are hearing Tiffany talk about triggers, and you can pause for a moment to understand one of your bad ones, one of the ones that just throws you into your ruminating mind, and you feel like, well, I'm talking about myself, you guys. I feel like I get stuck there.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to remember like to breathe again, even because it gets so constricting for me. Tell us more about that piece. Help us. How did you get to the place where you could get out of that faster?
Sure. So one of the things that I have in my book or in the chapter is that we're learning how to manifest with writing. And the very first thing I have everybody do, even my clients, is start journaling. And a lot of people have a lot of resistance with this. Well, they're like, what should I write about? I'm like, just write whatever you're thinking. They're like, I'm so confused. I'm literally saying, write whatever you're thinking. So like, I just woke up. I am tired, like those kind of things. But what happens is when we start writing, are those loops, those things that get us stuck are going to be coming out on paper, and you're going to be able to see that visually, but it's going to take some time. So I tell people, like, give yourself 3 months to start writing every day, and then go back and see what your normal themes are. What are those trigger themes? What are the things that hold you back? Who are the people that are like hindering you or stressing you out? Who are you talking about the most? Like, do you need to get rid of those people? Like, that's kind of the first step of figuring out what your triggers are, is to start writing and journaling and just figuring out how to separate yourself from those loops.
I'm so glad you mentioned journaling, because I'm a fan.
Yeah.
It's so powerful, you guys. So powerful.
It
So
is.
yeah, it's almost instant. Like, I've written things down, and I will look at it and go, oh, do you believe that? I'm talking to myself like, oh, wow. Like, it just moves it from the inside to the outside. It's an awareness tool, powerful awareness tool.
Very.
Okay, Tiffany, I know you have a ton of things going on aside from writing in this book. So tell us like how people work with you. What do you have going on right now?
So I have a website that anybody can go to. I have tons of resources on there. And I don't think a lot of people know that, just because they'll see that about me and they're like, oh my gosh, that's a lot already. But it says everything I do. I am trained in so many different modalities. I'm a I'm a shamanic breathwork facilitator. I do Reiki. I am an author. I'm about to start a new podcast. I should be a guest on a few podcasts, and all that's going to be on my website. So, like, if you go to my menu, you can see all those different options that you can go to. I have meditations on there. I have guided meditations on. I have tons of stuff on there, and it's all free. It's all free. And
Super awesome.
this book, if you get to read this chapter that I'm in, you will get a little sample of my 13-page PDF on how to manifest your life. But if you read and you go to my page and you just say, hey, I want a copy of this, I'm going to send it to you and you'll have it for free. So a lot of my stuff is just a lot of different kinds of resources. I do, I have my own private practice. I'm not yet full. I'm never always really full. I can always like have someone come in. So I'm always taking new clients, people that want to work on their trauma, want to work on like their life, anything really. I do a lot of relationship stuff, a lot of intimacy therapy as well. So I do a lot of stuff. I hope to start some community groups online in the next year and so just come to my website and just check it out and see what I have and see what's going to be coming up. So
yes, awesome. It sounds exciting. You sound like me. I always say, oh, I got a lot going on. Just go check it out. Tiffany-McBride.org is going to be hooked up below. Okay. So take her up on that. Explore, you guys. And honestly, this is so much more than a book for the reasons like Tiffany just talked about. I have a mission really to hook you up with the community here. So to our listeners, no matter where you are on this journey, these books are going to help you answer that question. What else is possible? So Tiffany, what's like a simple stepping stone you'd like to share with our listeners today to help them start that journey? What do you want them to know today?
I would say definitely take time. It's going to be a slow process and it's a lot of patience. And a lot of people expect, when they're manifesting their life or they're trying to work on a goal, it's a process. It's a step-by-step process and you cannot skip steps. And it's so important to keep those steps because you're going to learn so much along the way, but also it just builds that way. And so I always tell people just take your time, with this journaling, start with 3 months of just journaling every day. 3 pages, what I say, that's kind of like a good limit, and see what you're manifesting. Like if you're manifesting your life to be chaotic, are you manifesting your life to be what it wants to be? And so taking your time, giving yourself compassion and being patient with yourself as you work through this. And then there's so many different things that you can do to talk to people. There's so many mentors out there, guides. In this book, you have so many people that are willing to come and help you. So like that's another thing, is asking for help. We can't do this on our own. That's why community is so important. So even though we want to manifest something on our own, we're always going to need people to help us. So that's something else to remember, is just to keep your community close. But I think first thing is just like start slow, take your time. I definitely have like in my PDF SMART goals. So those are measurable. Those are specific. They're very time manageable. Like they're going to give you what you need to do step by step, but you can't skip it, like I said, because you're going to miss something.
Brilliant. Tiffany McBride, thank you so much for what you do in the world and for being here today to share it with everyone.
Thanks, Laura. You were awesome too.
All right, listeners, Mindset Mastery is coming out in January of 23. But until then, if something you heard Tiffany say today made you curious, or you have a question, you need some support, just scroll on down to the show notes. You're going to be able to connect with her on her website. She's very generously there for you, plus all of the resources she mentioned to help you take those next steps, right? So go check it all out. You're also invited to the Brave Healer Book Club on Facebook, where you can continue the conversation and meet the community. And if you are ready to join for our book launch party, you can do that on January 22nd. All of the Zoom information for that party is on the Brave Healer Productions Facebook page, which I have linked up below as well. I'm going to have all the co-authors of Mindset Mastery there to share their wisdom and inspiration with you on the 22nd of January. And if you're listening anytime around that date, well, it's time to hop over to Amazon, because that means you can actually buy the book by then. Lastly, today, everyone, remember, your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So come and visit bravehealer.com and explore all the ways we help you share your message with the world in a bigger way, including the Brave Healer Writers Retreat in Sedona on April of 23. Eek. See you next time, everyone.